Hey everybody, it's Monday, March 24th. Tomorrow's my birthday. I'm going to be 45 years old tomorrow, so starting tomorrow I can never say that I'm in my early 40s again. My name is Wes Hagen. I'm the vineyard manager and winemaker here at Clos Pepe Vineyards and Clos Pepe Estate Wines. And today we're going to talk a little bit about cool. So a lot of people think that the kind of currency of New World wine is really sunshine, the same way that the currency of Old World wine is earth and elegance and complexity. And sometimes we think that really what makes California wine so great is only sunshine. Actually, heat, and specifically really hot weather, does not really produce dark, rich, ripe wines. And Pinot Noir really is the grape that requires the most cool of all. Now, you may have mentioned, well, Burgundy gets pretty hot during the summer, doesn't it? Well, in Europe, I think you can probably argue that you hope for a lot of warmth during the growing season to get you to the level of ripeness that makes a good vintage. Now, the Santa Rita Hills and the New World is a little bit different, and there's a combination between Old World influence and New World influence here, and that's why I like to say that the Santa Rita Hills produces Pinot Noirs and Chardonnay that have a lot of Old World complexity, but a lot of New World fruit. So let's talk about cool. So there's a few things about cool here in the Santa Rita Hills that really define what we do. Number one is what you see in back of me, and a lot of people were asking me to talk a little bit about frost today. So this gorgeous, gorgeous late March sort of fog in back of me is just a godsend, and I'll tell you why. It's because we've been expecting, cool, if not cold, clear nights, and if the nights are clear, that gives the chance for a radiation frost, which means that basically there's no clouds keeping cold temperatures and basically space sucking heat off of the ground. So as the ground gets colder and colder, frost kind of moves up and up, and then cold air kind of moves downhill. There's a little area, I guess, off to my left, your right, where we have this very, very low end of the vineyard where a lot of cold air tends to go. We call it sort of the frost basin of the Santa Rita Hills. So because we have this beautiful fog, we're kind of getting this June gloom in early spring. How exciting and beautiful is that? Really, really exciting that we have this kind of weather, because it's allowing me to sleep through the nights and not waking up from frost alarms and having to turn on the water and having to turn on the fan. So number one, we're excited to have this fog, and this fog really defines us because it comes off the Pacific Ocean. It buffers us against sort of the hot temperatures on the east side of the valley. So for today, it's actually going to be 75, 77 degrees here. It's going to be 80 degrees over in the San Ynez Valley. But what's so exciting today is, it's 56 degrees right now at 9:30 in the morning on a Monday, and it's going to be 75, here within a couple hours. But this fog really has this wonderful buffering effect on the heat. So kind of look at it. To the west of us is the Pacific Ocean. To the east of us is the San Ynez Valley, which is a very arid Mediterranean and fairly warm to hot climate during the summer. And we're in this beautiful marginal climate. And I've said it again, and I'll say it some more, that one thing you can say about every great wine grown anywhere in the world, anywhere, is that basically it's grown on the edge of ripeness. If you know you're going to get the fruit super ripe and super sweet every year, that doesn't seem to be the places where you grow the most beautiful and elegant wine. I mean, the San Joaquin Valley in California, it's hot. It produces great raisins. It produces great table wine under 10 or 15 bucks. But it really doesn't produce fine wine. Why not? Is it the soils? It's sort of like the Languedoc, delicious, pleasurable wines made in France. They get all the heat they need. They make good wine. But look at Bordeaux. Look at Burgundy, Alsace, Champagne, the Ribeiro, Priorat, Longueuil, Barolo. Any place that grows spectacularly good wine is always on the edge of ripeness. So maybe 4 years out of 10 you get good ripeness, 4 years out of 10 you get decent ripeness, and then 1 year you get a spectacular vintage, and 1 year you get a horrible vintage. So that edge is really where it happens. So cool is really what drives the world of fine wine, that edge of where the fruit gets ripe. And in the Santa Rita Hills we have the wind coming through these east-west valleys, and that basically shuts the grapevine down, maybe 200 afternoons out of 300 here in the Santa Rita Hills. So if you get 20, 25 mile per hour winds whipping through these valleys, the vines, the back of the leaves basically close, and the stomatal closure occurs, which means the vine stops respiring, stops photosynthesizing, maintains full acidity, and the level of sugar stops. So anytime in the Santa Rita Hills, which is all the time in spring and summer, that we get a nice windy day, you're going to get stomatal closure, basically the cessation of photosynthesis and an extension of the growing season. So just like, if you get a strawberry that ripens really quick, it looks nice and ripe until you cut it open, it's kind of crystally inside, that's not phenolically ripe. What we want to see is full ripeness that is slow and moderated by a long, cool growing season. So at the end of the season, we have perfect balance between the sugar and the acid. So acid kind of falls off and sugar kind of continues to rise. So we want to find that moment where the sugar's perfect, but also the acids is perfect. So wind is one way that we get cool. We get, obviously, the fog is another way that we cool down. Being this close to the Pacific Ocean is an amazing way that we moderate our temperature. And so as these east-west valleys open up to the Pacific Ocean, we get the cool weather, we get the cold, we get the fog, we get the wind. That extends our hang time, and that is really why cool matters so much in the Santa Rita Hills. And I like cool but not cold. Cold means I have to wake up and turn on the frost machines. Cool means we basically get the longest, coolest growing season almost anywhere where Pinot Noir exists. And Chardonnay is on the edge of ripeness here. There's years where we struggle to get Chardonnay ripe in the Santa Rita Hills and in Clos Pepe, and that means if the Chardonnay struggles to get ripe, we're in the perfect place to grow Pinot Noir. So that's basically all that I'm going to say today. Talk a little bit about cool, a little bit about what we're doing. We invite you up to come up to the Santa Rita Hills anytime you have some time. We got, maybe about a month. I think it's April 11th, 12th, and 13th. We're doing the Grand Festival for the Santa Barbara County Vintners Association, which is being respun this year. Should be awesome. You guys should come up or down and experience everything we do in the Santa Rita Hills. Open house at Clos Pepe, Sunday, April 13th. If you watch the blog, say, I watched the blog and I want to get in for free, and we'll give you a free opportunity to taste our wine on April 13th. So please come and visit us, enjoy, check out the website, and we'll see you next Monday for another video blog. Thanks, guys.